Alright, this is going to be really noisy, but we are spraying. So we have our Sticks primer, which is that can over there. And we have tinted to gray, since we're painting this a gray color. I painted the back side just because it's a pain. So again, I'm just using the HVLP. I have not thinned it down. You can't really use our pressure settings, so you had the guns built a couple times, but this is kind of our setting. The air is about the right amount. And then we're just using a number 5 needle, and I am going to just start spraying away and kind of see what it looks like. You can use an airless, you could use a brush. I just really like the finish of an HVLP. And this one I could probably, you can kind of see that little bit of a sputtering on there. I'm not going to worry about it too much since it's primer, but next time I'll have to thin it down if it's a little too thick. I probably didn't shake it up enough. The primer's been sitting in our shop for a long time. But I'm going to be a little bit heavier on this one anyway, so it's okay, because I want to fill in some of that grain just with a spray, which I don't really like doing, but it's for our house, so I'm not too worried about it. So I'm going to lay this primer down heavy on these flat parts, and then it'll just kind of soak in. And I'll do a sand in between anyway to kind of knock off some of the high spots. And the good thing about this system, they have a couple different cups you can use. The stuff you get from Graco. We've had nothing but issues with the guns leaking, like right here and along here. So this 3M, called a 3M sprayer kit adapter, made for the Gracos, works really well. So that way it doesn't spill. It maintains pressure the whole time, which is really nice. And then it doesn't leak. We haven't had any issues with the paint leaking from the cup since we've gone to this. Even though it doesn't leak, we still take a couple extra precautions, and we add on some Vaseline on the seals before we close it all up, which is just to kind of make sure that everything stays all nice and neat. And again, I just have it set pretty much wide open. It's a Sticks primer. It goes on really thick. And I'll probably do a coat, because we're going almost a dark black. So once I get this on here, I'll add a little bit of the paint in here to darken it just a little bit more, and then make sure if there's any gaps, that kind of stuff. I'll fill that in with primer also. And I have to adjust, add some more on here. It's really hard to look at. So I've done this upside down because I want the bottoms to make sure we get all the bottom parts, and then I'll flip it up and add another coat of primer on there. So I do it both ways. You don't have to. That's just what I've done with it. Kind of see if that's spattering on there. I've actually got too much material, so I'm going to turn that down just a little bit. And I can still tell with the pattern on there. We haven't tinted this gray before. Every tint acts a little bit different, so I probably should have maybe added about 5% water just to kind of make this lay down just a little bit, atomize it a little bit better. Next coat. If this was a top coat, I wouldn't be going in sections like this because it'll lay down funny. But for primer, it's fine. And if you do not have a booth like this, make sure you're using a respirator. Make sure you got some kind of ventilation. One of the things we do in homes while painting is just take a simple box fan, put it in the window, and put some furnace filters on there, and that'll capture all the overspray that comes out. You do the same thing with a vacuum and the HEPA filter, but the fan with the filters works a lot better. We're almost done with this. I forgot that. The cool thing about these cups pressurized like this, you can spray upside down, which is so nice spraying cabinets. Otherwise, in airless, you can do the same thing, but with most HVLPs, you can't spray upside down like that. Video I said I was using oil. I didn't have it with me, so I'm just going to spray this bonding primer on here, and when it dries out I'll do a video because you'll see the tannin coming through, and I'll just spot prime it with a rattle can with the oil primer because that's the only place I need it. Alright, so there we have our first coat of primer on this cabinet. When this dries, I'm going to sand it down. I'll flip it. When I flip it, I'll do a final coat of primer with it. It's right side up, and you'll see what it looks like right side up, and we'll prime it again. All right, till next video, check it out there.